So that's right, guys. We're going to be talking about 10 out of 10 Nintendo Switch games, and this time there's actually going to be 10 games on the list. I've done 2 other videos in the series. I haven't touched the 10 out of 10 Nintendo Switch game idea for quite a while, so I'm actually really excited to talk about some more Switch games that I really think are perfect. But anyway, look, let's get straight into the video, and if you do like the video, please be sure to give it a like and subscribe to the channel if you like the content. Anyway, let's get into it. Okay then guys, so the first game in this list for 10 out of 10 Nintendo Switch games is Xenoblade Chronicles X. Now, I was so excited when this finally got announced for the Nintendo Switch because I never actually played the original on the Wii U back in, 2015 I think when it first released. This is honestly one of the best Xenoblade Chronicles games out there. And I will have to admit, I would say every single Xenoblade Chronicles game that's ever been made is perfect. They are 10 out of 10 JRPG experiences. Now, the really cool thing about this game is that it is an open world JRPG and you can fly around. The skells in this game, they're these huge mechs that you get later on in the story. You can explore absolutely everywhere in these things. Combat is also really cool in the skells, but it does take a while to wrap your head around. But at the same time, I did get used to understanding the mechanics behind them, and it actually does not hinder the experience of Xenoblade X. Once you understand it, it is 10 times better. It just makes the game so amazing and awesome. But I mean, apart from the skells, the story in this game is a little bit on the weaker side compared to the other Xenoblade Chronicles games, but once you get to the epilogue, oh boy, does shit hit the fan. And I mean in a really good way. Like, I'm talking about the story and the plot really picks up, and well, you have to get to that point to really know what's going on and why it makes it awesome. But of course, this is just a super deluxe edition of Xenoblade Chronicles X that initially released for the Nintendo Wii U, and of course you got the epilogue DLC package that comes on the cartridge of this game. This is honestly so fun to explore. The world of Mirror, so many different enemies and monsters to battle. It's just an awesome time. And of course, the music is utter perfection. Now, the second game on this list is Mario & Rabbids Kingdom Battle. Believe it or not, this was actually a very surprising game. This is one of the first games that launched on the Nintendo Switch back in 2017. This is an unexpected crossover between the Super Mario characters and also the Rabbids universe. Mario & Rabbids Kingdom Battle is one of the best games on the Nintendo Switch, hands down. This is a tactical turn-based kind of game. I would not really call this an RPG, but it definitely has those RPG elements. And basically the plot of the game is that the Rabbids end up in the Mushroom Kingdom universe through, I think, a time portal or something like that. And it's all about the Rabbids just taking over the Mushroom Kingdom and causing utter chaos and havoc. But the gameplay loop in this game is so addictive. I am a huge fan and sucker of tactical turn-based games, and I love that tactical RPG genre. It's so much fun. And it all started with Fire Emblem back on the GBA. I just love the tactical gameplay so much. But this game is also just very colorful and bright. It is very inviting, and I think the developers did justice using the Mario characters and IP. The music is also pretty banging in this. I believe good old Grant Kirkhope contributed to the OST in this game. So you just know having a legend on board, a part of this development team, obviously gives credence to why this game is so amazing. If you have not tried this game, honestly go pick it up and play it. You will not regret it. This is one of those 10 out of 10 games in the early year of the Nintendo Switch, and I do not regret it whatsoever. So coming in at number 3 is a relatively new game, and that is Paper Mario The Thousand Year Door remake for the Nintendo Switch. Now, I have a lot of trouble trying to decide which one I actually prefer. Is it the GameCube version or is it the Switch remake? But honestly, this game is still utter perfection. I am so happy they brought back the proper Paper Mario gameplay and formula. I was very upset when they still continued with that weird arts and crafts thematics with Origami King and Color Splash and Sticker Star. Those games had no stories, no soul, no characters, nothing original about them. Well, maybe Origami King was a little bit popular with some people here and there, but honestly, Thousand Year Door is how Paper Mario should be, returning to its its roots with originality, creativity. The music is on point, the humor is on point, and this world in the Thousand Year Door is so ethereal and surreal. It honestly makes you want to explore this world from corner to corner across the map, and the boss battles in this game are so cool, so creative, so original, and just some of the story elements that take place in the different chapters of the Thousand Year Door, it really does keep you guessing and makes you wonder what path that this game is actually going to take you. All those kinds of things are really good key elements in gameplay exploration and just the whole world exploration in general. But honestly, if you are going to play a Paper Mario game, I highly suggest you get the Thousand Year Door, because this is what makes a Paper Mario game. So the fourth game that I believe is 10 out of 10 for the Nintendo Switch is Tokyo Mirage Sessions Sharp FE Encore. That is a long title for a game. But this is also one of those other Wii U titles that eventually made its way over to the Nintendo Switch. I think this game came out in 2020, so the year of, well, you know, the pandemic. I love Tokyo Mirage Sessions so much. This is an awesome JRPG, and it's a turn-based JRPG with some relative traditional elements to it, but because this is a crossover between Fire Emblem and the Shin Megami Tensei series, and is obviously developed by Atlus, it's basically just an SMT game featuring the Fire Emblem characters. And the really cool thing is that this is an original story. There are original characters to follow in this, with the main character being Tsubasa Oribe, or one of the protagonists I should say. There's also a male protagonist, but I kind of forgot his name. But as the main characters that you play in Tokyo Mirage Sessions, the Fire Emblem characters are your summons and your partner characters in battle. There's a lot of gameplay elements that come from Atlus turn-based JRPGs, and a lot of elemental abilities and powers that work as like a rock, paper, scissors combat system. I love the setting in this game being modern Tokyo, more specifically in Shibuya in Tokyo, Japan. Funny thing, I actually went there earlier this year myself, so it was really cool seeing some comparisons of real world locations and then comparing them back to Tokyo Mirage Sessions. But yes, this is definitely a 10 out of 10 game on the Nintendo Switch, and one of the best JRPGs for Nintendo platforms of modern times, so definitely sink your teeth into this one. You will have a lot of fun, and I also played through New Game Plus because that's how addictive this game was, and it's definitely a hidden gem. This is a game that is pretty hard to find now, so if you do find a copy, definitely pick it up and add it to your Nintendo Switch collection. So number 5 on this list is one of my favorites, and that is Captain Toad Treasure Tracker. This is an absolutely cute, adorable, isometric view-based 3D platformer, I suppose. It's a very unique genre and spin-off of the Mario series. The gameplay style did originate from Super Mario 3D World back on the Wii U, where there was these little minigame subsections where you played as Captain Toad, and it had that sort of tilted isometric view with navigating these cube little worlds. And you could get collectibles like stars and turnips and all that kind of good jazz. I was so surprised when they brought this game over to the Wii U for the first time as a full-fledged title. I was not expecting them to make a whole game out of this little mini-game element from Super Mario 3D World. But well, they went and did it, and they finally brought this game over to the Switch after its Wii U release, and I know that you've probably realized there's a lot of Wii U ports in this list, but honestly, these games I feel like are more like Nintendo Switch games because the Nintendo Switch gave them the second life that they deserve. The Wii U just unfortunately failed quite terribly, and there's a lot of games on the Wii U that just did not sell well enough, and a lot of people didn't get a chance to play these games. But finally coming to the Nintendo Switch and then actually selling in the millions like they should have initially, I do deem Captain Toad Treasure Tracker as a 10 out of 10 Nintendo Switch game. And yes, you should definitely pick this up if you love the Mario games, and also Captain Toad himself. He is adorable. So the 6th game on this list is Luigi's Mansion 3. Now, this one came out back in 2019, but I played it the following year in 2020. And during the lockdowns, I had a lot of time on my hands, and oh boy, did I have a blast with this one. This is subjective in regards to what the best Luigi's Mansion is, but Luigi's Mansion 3 really does take it back to that classic mansion exploration, because in Luigi's Luigi's Mansion 2, unfortunately, they kind of split things up in that game, but they brought it back home and had it all in the one central location in number 3. I really like the theme in this game. It's a giant 20-floor hotel that you get to explore, and each level of the hotel is a different theme. And you get different themes like a Jurassic level, you get an Egyptian theme, there's like a sewer level, there's all kinds of places to explore in the hotel and lots of secrets and nooks and crannies. And yes, they brought back original ghost designs as well, none of this generic crap. So it was really cool to actually see proper characters in the ghost enemies. Now, am I hoping that there's a Luigi Mansion 4? Of course I am, and I really do think we will get a 4th entry on the Nintendo Switch too. But in the meantime, if you have not played a Luigi's Mansion game, get Luigi's Mansion 3. It is definitely 10 out of 10, a lot of fun, and I believe the best-selling entry in the series. So get your hands on this bad boy because it is so worth it. Alright then, coming in at number 7 is Pokemon Legends Arceus. This has got to be one of the best Pokemon games on the Nintendo Switch. Now, unfortunately, I'd say half the games of Pokemon games on the Switch are quite hit and miss, but this is one of those Pokemon titles that actually delivers on the hype. And it was very experimental with its world design and also gameplay mechanics. Now, it's still a Pokemon game, so you do have the turn-based strategy type of battling and RPG mechanics, but you can also just catch Pokemon. You don't always have to battle a Pokemon. You can catch Pokemon and add them to your entry decks, and it's actually one of the big gameplay elements that they advertise in Pokemon Legends Arceus. Now, this world consists of 5 giant open area segments, so it's kind of open world, but it's also not open world. It's kind of open segmented, very similar to the numbered Xenoblade Chronicles games, and I would not be surprised if they got inspiration from the Monolith Soft team and their games that they make in general. There's a lot of cool things in this game, like having alpha Pokemon. They're these big, corrupted Pokemon with like glowing red eyes, and they're like, what, 5 times the size of their original Pokemon. So going up against them was a real challenge, and also just hunting shinies in the wild was so fun and addictive. Whenever a shiny Pokemon came into view, stars would pop off their head and you could see them sparkling in the distance. And when you heard that little jingle of sparkling, you just knew that there was something rare nearby to catch. This is a very fun game to play and explore within, and it's a refreshing take on the Pokemon series. And of course, there is also the sequel, Pokemon Legends ZA, which I have not played yet. I don't know if it's better than Legends Arceus. However, Pokemon Legends Arceus itself is totally a 10 out of 10 Pokemon experience. So the 8th game on this list is Ys 8 Lacrimosa of Dana. Now, this is a third-party JRPG on the Nintendo Switch, and it is seriously one of the best JRPGs of all time. I have mentioned Ys 8 quite a few times on the channel with other videos, but of course I have to mention it again because it is a personal 10 out of 10 favorite of mine. If you are a sucker of the summertime and tropical settings, Ys 8 really is the go-to tropical JRPG. This is a massive world to explore. Like, I'm not kidding. This is one of the biggest worlds I've ever explored within a JRPG. It is huge. It is not exactly open world, but you can see the Isle of Seiren from all different angles all across the island at different times in this game. There's a very iconic central point to this game. There's this giant mountain in the center of the island, and no matter where you are, you can see that mountaintop wherever you're standing on the Isle of Seiren. The music is so banging in this. It's got a very refreshing sort of arcade feel to it, and the main theme of this game, Sunshine Coastline, really hits you like a freight train. When I first heard that, the opening riff of the guitar, oh man, I had goosebumps for days, and I still listen to that track so often. It is one of the best adventurous tunes in all of Japanese role-playing games. So once again, if you love the summertime, you love your RPGs, I highly recommend that you play Ys 8 Lacrimosa of Dana because it is an absolute dream to play that portably and actually take your Switch console to the beach. Definitely 10 out of 10. So the second last game on this list is a little bit of a controversial one, but it is Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. Now, I know on a technical level, these aren't the best games ever made. I know that there are a lot of issues, but there are improvements if you play it on the Nintendo Switch too. However, as an overall package, to me personally, Scarlet and Violet are probably probably my favorite games on the Nintendo Switch. And why is that, you say? Well, honestly, I don't know. It's more so just my personal resonance with the game. And yes, I know everyone's not going to agree, and I'll probably get people complaining in the comments about it, but I'm sorry guys, it is really one of my favorite Pokemon generations of all time. I love a lot of the Pokemon designs. I am a huge fan of the Spanish thematics and design that this game takes place in, and I also really love in the center of the world the giant crater. Now I can't really go into that spoiler territory because, well, yes, it is spoilers and late game content, but the final area and dungeon in this game is amazing. It is so cool, and you can see that's where a lot of the game's passion went into. The ending is superb. It is one of the best endings in a Pokemon game, hands down. I also really love the character designs, you know, some of the gym leaders I really like, of course, the females like Tulip and Iono, I love them so much. And there's just some really cool Pokemon in this game in general, like Ceruledge. Ceruledge is badass. The shiny hunting in this game, similar to Pokemon Legends Arceus, is also quite a blast and very addictive. Now I haven't played the Switch 2 upgrade patch for this game, but I'm definitely going to do that because this will 100% solidify this as a 10 out of 10 Nintendo Switch game. Now the final game on this list is Super Mario 3D World plus Bowser's Fury. Yes, this is the game that has the Captain Toad treasure tracker elements and mini games. That is where that comes from, and this game is just so much fun. There is no crazy story about this game. It's not about the narrative. It really is just good 3D platforming Mario fun. And with this Nintendo Switch edition, we've got this Bowser's Fury package, this side DLC, and honestly, in Bowser's Fury, I do feel like this is what the next 3D Mario might be like. I do think the developers are playing around with a 3D open world Mario game, and there's a lot of like self-generating platforms and creatures and enemies in Bowser's Fury, and the missions that you do in Bowser's Fury update after you do other missions. Elements in Bowser's Fury update and refresh quite regularly, so I can see them implementing that feature and design in the next 3D Mario game for the Switch too. The music is awesome though when you go up against Fury Bowser himself. He's gigantic. You get all these big thunderstorms filling up the sky, and he's just like, roar! He's so angry and he wants to get revenge on you for what you did to him in the main campaign of 3D World. But 3D World itself is just so much fun. There's a lot of hidden collectibles in the game and a lot of unique designed areas in 3D World. Either you can play this game by yourself or you can play with, I think, up to 4 friends. So this is definitely just good, dumb Mario fun. And honestly, yes, it really is 10 out of 10 quality. This game, it is mint. So that was my list of 10 out of 10 Nintendo Switch games. Honestly, tell me what you think about my list. They are my preferences. I really love these games. I really do think that they are perfect, and they are such beautiful, amazing experiences on the Nintendo Switch. Tell me your thoughts in the comments below, and also let me know which games you think are 10 out of 10 Nintendo Switch games, because I would really love to hear your opinions on the matter. Now, if you did like the video, I would really appreciate it if you show your support and give it a like, share the video, hype the video as well if you would like to do that, and also subscribe to the channel because I would love to have you guys on board, and yeah, be a part of the community, and we can talk about everything to do with Nintendo Switch and JRPGs. Once again, thanks for your support, and as always guys, I will catch you on the flip side. UpperNimbus is signing off.